from there, started to teach in 85, was a snare tech 85, 6, 7, 8. And
the
then
legendary 87 Cadets drum corps and drumline percussion ensemble. Perfect score.
Yeah. Well, funny part about that, there was a thread that went up on Facebook about, it was from some Blue Devils. And, how did that happen? Like, what were people thinking? The Blue Devils were this, Blue Devils were that. And I think I posted something where I said, yeah, they were. Those kids were way better players than any of the kids we had. They were playing way more stuff. And if you weighed the amount of stuff they were playing, we were playing, it was like we were a feather and they were like, an 18-wheeler. But it was at the time where drum corps was moving forward, and we were, the drum line was part of this visual, whatever you want to call it, that Zingali put together. And the way Tom wrote it was we were supporting the music, and we were a total ensemble. And a lot of the other guys, like the Blue Devils, who played, they were just lights out. It wasn't a total ensemble. So I think nowadays, if you took 87 cadets and you matched them up with the Blue Devils, it might go a different way. But it was, from an effect standpoint, music ensemble, and performance, we filled the criteria of what the sheet was back then. And so, I don't think people realize this, but we had gotten 2 other 10s before. So we got 3 10s at final. So we got a perfect 30, but 2 other shows we had gotten 2 10s. And you're talking a couple weeks before. So
wow.
Hannum and I were like, oh shit, this could really actually happen. But we could really max this thing out. So, and as 3 judges not near each other on the field, they probably had to go, all right, if these guys are doing it, we're doing it, because they're, assume they didn't get on the walkie-talkies and go, hey, I'm giving them a 10. So,
yeah, watch.
Yeah.
So they had their
remember
Bluetooth.
those things, the walkie-talkies?
Yeah. I had one as a kid.
Yeah.
But I remember I would always talk to Lee about that, because obviously he was there and he taught me around, but I was always just busting him. He's just always funny about it. He's like, we were the cleanest. It's all that mattered. Yeah. I was like, there we go.
Yeah. And we were, I was pretty psychotic. I did, up until I got married in 93, I did the whole summer every year. And so I was on a mission in 87, man. It was like, if you did something, that you weren't supposed to, whether it was your tension rod wasn't tight enough, I knew about it. If your shoelace wasn't tied the way it was supposed, I knew about it, and you were going to fix it. So yeah. And there was a funny story. We got to finals week. Tom came in and out, and so we're up in Minnesota, and we're out in the parking lot, and we're tracking, and I got this 5-stroke roll exercise. That's, we're cranking it, and I'm pointing in. You can see I'm real intense. And Tom comes over and he puts his hand on my shoulder and he says, Aungst, come here. I go, what? We got to clean this. Aungst, come here. So he goes, we got some Frisbees. We're not practicing. These guys got it. I'm like, what? So what we did, we played Frisbee. It was like the day of finals. We got Frisbees and we were out in the football field, like throwing Frisbees. I was having a cow, right? But, his thing is like, we're there, man. That's what he sees, Hannum's like, man, we're there. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. Like, we had 2 hours, and I think then I thought like, oh shit, someone's going to like break a leg or something. But, yeah, I think it was, we're coming out of nowhere. It's, it's either the West Coast, I'm trying to think, it was either the West Coast or Bayonne had won drums, right? And that's pretty much it. So, and here's everything on the line. And I think people don't remember too, the Corps in 87, we didn't really win a lot of shows. I think we were with Vanguard 10 times. And the first time we beat Vanguard was prelims. And it was almost like it rained right before we had gone on. It was really hot and humid in Madison. And man, the Corps was on fire. And it was like the first time out of 10 times that we had won a show. Now, drum wise, we had won every show. There were shows where we were winning by like a point. It was like crazy.
That's awesome.
But here's the thing: it was like I look at the recap. I'm like, oh shit, we weren't that good. we just beat groups like by a point. But I guess if everyone's buying into it, they're buying into it, right? If they go, I always kind of tell this story. It was 2005. I think Mac was with the Blue Coats, and I flew into Pittsburgh, and we hadn't finished the show, so we still had a minute of drill to do, but we still had the show, and so we went on, and I'm like, oh Jesus, it was a mess when we stood still for the last minute, and the Blue Coats went on, and I went, oh shit, they're gonna kick our ass, like we're in trouble. And I walked out of the drum guys, and I go, yeah, well, it's okay, it's first show. I think we beat them by 2.5 points because people were just buying into what we were doing. And plus we had, who was going to have the cadets down at that time, to the Blue Coats. I mean, the Blue Coats were kind of on their way up and we were there and,
Yeah,
so,
I think that was actually the first year in 05 that Blue Coats had beat cadets at any point in the show in drums. Like that was like the first milestone for them. And I did look up 1972, the Kingsmen won drums, and every year after that, up until 87, it was either Vanguard, BD, or Bridgman. So it was either West Coast or Bridgman. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, there you go. So I mean, so 80, but it's funny, 80. 80. A lot of people don't talk about the 87 line, but we were such an integral part of the music and the fabric of the core, visually and musically, that it wasn't. We weren't just this drum line that just was there, And Hannum and I used to go into critiques, and our whole thing was, parts ain't parts, which was basically, we're right, at that time we're talking about like, hey, we're writing music, and these other guys are writing drum parts kind of thing. So,
you gotta vie for your team.
Yeah, well, we had, and we'd go in there, we'd pass out a list of stuff they should check out. We were organized. Not so much these days, but we had a whole list of stuff, man.